Aid is ending up on the Soviet black market have been scotched by Melbourne's Russian community. The group behind this week's visit by children from Chernobyl says it's found the only way to get the aid to the right people. Peter Beaton reports.
Nikolai Grigorovich was on the team which took 90 tons of food to the Soviet Union, watching it carefully all the way.
When we come to Moscow and to the other centers, we work out what goes where, and then we physically take it there. This way we ensure that it does not fall into the wrong hands.
Melbourne's Russian community is hosting 47 children from Pripyat, 3 kilometres from where the Chernobyl nuclear reactor caught fire 5 years ago. Most of them are orphans and now live as refugees in Kiev. But a few days in Melbourne have changed the stern little faces which arrived on Tuesday. Now there are smiles, and their hosts have learned a vital secret about these little Russians. They love bananas. You're looking at the Soviet Union's Olympic standard banana munching squad. They've cleared their host families' kitchens of bananas in record time. And they're getting to like Australia too.
It's very nice.
But the best bit is the bananas, for sure. Peter Beaton, 7 Nightly News.
Today from the Russian-speaking community in Melbourne that any aid donated to the victims of Chernobyl will be personally delivered to those affected. This pledge was made following reports that a group of young Chernobyl victims visiting Australia had not cited a single item of foreign food aid.
When the children arrived 2 days ago for their 5-week stay in Australia, it was left to 15-year-old Olga Tunovskia to express her gratitude on behalf of her companions. But away from the glare of the lights, Vitaly Vitaliev, a Melbourne-based Russian-speaking journalist, was chatting to a group of teenagers. The result was this article in The Age, in which the children spoke bluntly about life as victims of the Chernobyl disaster. They claimed they had not received, nor had they cited, a single item of foreign food aid. Today, Nikolai Grigorovich, who last December personally helped to deliver nearly $2 million worth of Australian aid to the victims of Chernobyl, said that 2 further container loads were due to leave on Saturday. And he made this pledge.
When we come to Moscow and to the other centers, we work out what goes where, and then we physically take it there. This way we ensure that it does not fall into the wrong hands.
Although there might be food shortages at home, the Russian community in Melbourne is determined that these children will not go hungry while they're here. And the children have already discovered a food they simply can't get enough of.
Bananas don't grow in Soviet Union, and there's not too many of them there. They don't have them too often, and they like them. It's a marvelous country. The people are great, and she just likes everything about Australia, and it's beautiful.
Quentin Fogarty, SBS News.
Into its heart, 49 visiting Soviet children, survivors of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. They've been flown here for a special holiday. The eye-openers for the young holiday makers have surprised their hosts. Everyday items that most Australians just take for granted.
There aren't many Australian kids who've never eaten a banana. But this boy from Chernobyl had never seen a banana until yesterday, let alone tasted one. Another boy was unsure how to peel one, so a friend helped out. For these children, the novelty of eating bananas says as much about what Australians take for granted as it does about the life these kids have left behind. It doesn't show in their faces, but exposure to radiation has left them with thyroid, blood pressure and immune system problems that will drastically cut their life expectancy. But their holiday here will at least improve their quality of life.
I would say blast of positive emotions of human kindness is bound to have a positive impact on the children.
Chaperone Valentina Kolesnikova concedes that children don't have much to look forward to at home and can understand that some would like to stay.
She does not regard it as being treasonous on the part of children towards the motherland. Any person lives only once, and everybody wants to live beautifully.
The story of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster may have faded in the world's conscious over these past 5 years. Those who live there will never forget the radiation lingers in the earth, the water supply, and indeed in the air they breathe. Sadly, it's the children whose immune systems are not fully developed that have been hardest hit. Just 2 days ago, a group of these children arrived in Melbourne to start a 6-week holiday which could end up saving their lives. Karen Milano reports.
Welcome to Australia. Welcome to Australia. Smile.
These 47 youngsters are not your average tourists. To get a ticket, they had to be exposed to radiation.
The radiation was so intense, Special Army emergency teams could spend only 70 seconds on the roof of the shattered power station.
5 years ago, the massive explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant shocked the world. 1,000 square kilometres and 98 villages were heavily contaminated. Children have been the ones to suffer the most, and that's why these are here.
The doctors over there assure us that the children with a month's clean air and fresh food will build up their immune systems, and hopefully they won't get sick in later life.
Val Brzezinski is secretary of the Russian House Relief Fund that's giving these children hope.
All the children seemed very, very pale to me and almost anemic.
We need that you help to us.
The children are all billeted out with Russian-speaking families. 14-year-old Viktor Evdochenko will enjoy 6 weeks of the good life with Val and her son Daniel. What did you think when you were told you were coming to Australia?
He was very happy.
Did you know much about Australia?
Ты про Австралию что-нибудь знал? No.
Почти ничего.
Practically nothing.
Well, the extent of the problem is enormous. It's actually very hard for us to comprehend in Australia. Currently there are over 3 million people still living in radioactive contaminated areas in the Soviet Union, mainly in the UK.
Dr. Michael Kidd witnessed firsthand the legacy of Chernobyl last year.
As a direct result of the radiation, a lot of them are suffering from anemia and problems with their immune system, so they're not able to fight off infections, which other children, say here in Australia, would fight off very easily. And a small number of the children are going on to develop the serious consequences, such as cancer and leukemia.
No one knows how many children will slowly die. 800,000 are still living in contaminated areas. While Victor is increasing his chances of survival, his family have not been so fortunate.
Отец облучился.
His father has radiation because he was working at the plant.
Сестра тоже. Ну, сестра, она тоже так, плохо себя чувствует.
His sister doesn't feel very well sometimes.
Another group of Chernobyl children will arrive in Melbourne on Saturday, sponsored by the Scouts Association. The Scouts have already organised visits by more than 1,200 children to 15 European countries, with impressive results.
It gave them some hope about their own futures. It also showed them that the rest of the world cares about what is happening to them and is trying to do something very active to try and make their life and their future a lot better than it currently may be.
And if you want to participate in that gesture, donations can be sent to Russian House, Victims of Chernobyl Appeal, care of GPO Box 1727 P for Peter, Melbourne, Victoria 3000.